Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so in this webinar, what we do, we go through and define what Bookmap is, how you connect it to the markets, and what markets it connects to, and how to get it. And then we look at the basic user interface and define some of those basic elements on the Bookmap chart. And then we start to identify order flow that Bookmap very clearly visualizes, and that's the advantage that you're getting here that other platforms don't offer. Okay, so when you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. Okay, there's a 4-part educational course that goes through setups. It goes through understanding just the basics in the market, market mechanics, and then it gets more and more advanced. And the 4th part is about confluences and looking at icebergs, etc. Anyway, that's the educational course. It's available once you subscribe at any time. Okay, now we back up that same content in that educational course every day in the live order flow webinars. Not these, but the ones that follow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Those are for the subscribers, and they can ask questions there. So the whole idea here is that you have the education and then you see it live every day. You can ask questions, and then based on our analysis, and you will learn the process as well, based on our analysis in the order flow, we start to anticipate future price movement. Okay, and so that's the education that comes with Bookmap. Okay, so let's jump over to the new website, in fact. So new graphics here and new content. So hope you like it. And just start off at the top here, and then we'll scroll on down. Okay, so just information here about what Bookmap is. Continue on down. There's a small video here that goes, short video that goes through it. Who uses Bookmap? Who is it for? You can read about that here. Okay, why it offers you an edge, how to get an edge here. Okay, and then connectivity. Okay, so the we're going through and we're defining what Bookmap is. We're a software trading platform. All right, the we have a very unique way of visualizing the market data. We're different from other platforms, and that's our edge. Okay, so you will need to provide data though for U.S. equities and futures. You can see the 3 different markets that we connect to: futures, U.S. equities, and digital currencies. Okay, digital currencies, the data is free, but for U.S. equities and futures, you will need to provide the data. Okay, and this is how you can connect with Rhythmic. You see also some platforms listed here: CQG. I'm sorry. TTX Trader Pro, Ninja, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Okay, but you can see that data providers such as Rhythmic, CQG, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ Feed, and Stage 5 offers many of those there. So, or I think all of them. So that's how you can connect Bookmap to the futures. Right now, there's also some for the U.S. equities, and let's see if we have that here on the chart or on the new website. I don't think that is listed here. Okay, yeah, all right. We'll have to let them know about that. Okay, well, you can also connect though to U.S. equities here, NASDAQ. And let's click on that and see where this goes here. No, that's not where we wanted to go. All right. Anyway, it's with the DX feed. It offers that connectivity only to U.S. equities. It's full depth of market, and so you have that ability as well. Okay. All right. So now we know what Bookmap is. We know the different markets it connects to and how to connect. Let's go down to pricing and packages here. Okay, now you can subscribe yearly here or monthly, okay, by clicking on the different variables here. You can see there's digital and global. Okay, so let's define what these are. Okay, the digital version here, this is free. Okay, it gives free data to the GDAX exchange, so you can always check out a live market. You only get access to one digital currency though. Now, if you don't trade digital currencies, that's fine. You can still take a look and see what Bookmap is displaying. But if you're a futures trader or US equities trader, well, then you're going to need the global versions over here. Right? So I'll go through that in just a second. But there's the digital one that's free, gives you just an idea of what's going on. Digital Plus, what this is here is it just gives you 20 different digital currencies. You're able to record and replay your data. You get the advanced education. The advanced education, it does not come with the digital free version, nor does it come with support. Okay, so you get full support with the digital plus version, plus that advanced education. Okay, now the next one over here, global version. Okay, what you get with the global version is the ability to connect to futures and the U.S. equities. All right, so that's the global version, and then there's the global plus version. Okay, this is all inclusive, includes all the markets here. Global includes all the markets as well, but the global plus also gives you one-click trading. You can trade right from your Bookmap chart into your live futures or U.S. equities account, and then you have these proprietary indicators we put together. Large lot tracker, looking for specific players in the order book that might be bullying the book. Imbalance indicators for both the book and for volume. Iceberg tracker that looks at, again, larger players who don't want to show their liquidity. They want to hide it from you. And we have an algo that can identify them. And then we have a correlation tracker as well. Okay. All right, the correlation tracker, you can put different markets on the Bookmap chart. Okay, so that's how you can get Bookmap. Let's jump over here to social media. You can follow us on Twitter at bookmap_pro. All sorts of information here every day. And then our YouTube channel, all sorts of videos here. Bookmap intro videos here in a playlist. You can click on the playlist header here. The features and components header for the playlist there. And then the order flow video snippets is what I would recommend you watch. This is the kind of content and information we go over in the advanced order flow webinars and education. We go over it though in a lot more detail. Okay, so this just gives you the concepts of that order flow. All right, so let's move along here and let's jump into Bookmap and see what's going on here. We'll look at the NASDAQ E-mini. All right, and here's the day. Okay, here's our 9:30 open, and you can see it's been nothing but bullish. Initial move to the downside and then right back up. And where did it go to? Just shy of the high liquidity right here. Okay, so that's why it stopped here, because there's high liquidity here. Okay, there's no real other reason. There's it could be fib level, it could be some technical level, but there's liquidity there. That's the key. You can see it also did the same thing here in pre-market after 8:30, which was we had our CPI data earlier, I think. All right. Anyway, the three elements on this chart. All right. Well, let's simplify this data to begin with. I'm going to take off some of the add-on indicators. Okay, so we look at the basic Bookmap chart. Okay. In fact, I'm going to take everything off here, and then we're going to start off. We haven't done this in a while. Go with the candlestick chart. Talk about aggregated data. We're going to close up our CVD subpanel as well. Yeah, let's take a look at this here. Let's bring up, we do have a sub panel here for volume. This is a typical view we're all accustomed to, looking at a 5-minute candlestick chart. Okay. Now, the problem here with a candlestick chart is this is aggregated data. Okay. It's hiding a lot of information. Now, that's also the benefit of a candlestick chart for much higher time frames. And I like candlestick charts. I have nothing against them, but we want to know the details here. We're making important financial trading decisions. Okay. Within the candlestick, we don't know what happened. We only have open, high, low, and close of a candlestick. That's it, 4 data points. What happened in between each 5-minute period? Where did the volume trade? How much traded? What type? And what about the speed of microstructural moves? We don't have any of that data here. We're completely oblivious to it. Okay. So we want that information. We want that transparency. And the first element on that Bookmap chart that's going to give us a bit of transparency here is just showing historical best bid and offer. Okay. So here we go. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. And the red line here is the best offer. The green line is the best bid. Okay. It's about as simple as it can get. But look at the detail that we can already see just by adding that onto the chart. Okay. Some of these candlesticks here now have a little more definition, a little more meaning. And why is that? Well, we can look at the microstructural levels in here. We see very, very quick move here. Let's just zoom in. Okay. Very, very quick move from this candle to the next one here. Okay. But it started to slow down up here. Okay. We can see that it went back and forth here. And we can see that there's some microstructural levels here. There's one that's a small one here, just a little bit of back and forth, and then it broke out, continued. But look where it broke down back to the top of that little microstructural range. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, just right to the top of it here. Well, why did it do that? Well, we're going to see, because there's volume in this area here, and there's some sideways action. We're probably going to see exhaustion on the sell side here, not many sell orders or volume that traded, and then we're going to find buyers that stepped in up in these areas up here. That's probably what we're going to find. Okay? Understanding the microstructure and how volume interacts with that microstructure is key. Okay, it's some of the basis of the order flow. Okay, so this is the first element on the Bookmap chart that we show. Historical best bid and offer, and it's not aggregated data. Okay? You're getting the microstructure. All right, just by showing that. Now let's add the volume dots. That's the second element on the Bookmap chart here, where the volume traded. Okay? What type of volume it is, how much traded. Okay? All of these questions are answered just by showing the volume dots here. In fact, this is very much like a footprint chart. So if you're looking at, let's say, a 5-minute footprint chart, okay, from here down to here, well, you're going to see the majority of the volume clearly traded up here. Okay, very, very clearly. Most of it is going to be up in this area here. But look at the detail that we're getting here in Bookmap. We're getting structure. Okay, it broke out of this high here. Okay, you wouldn't have seen that in your footprint chart, and then you wouldn't see speeds of these moves either. Okay, you would see the cluster, or you wouldn't see the cluster either. You're not going to see that clustering detail here, but you will see that there is a lot of volume on that footprint chart in that area here. Okay, so we're really getting into the specifics by showing that best bid and offer and the volume that traded on it. But let's zoom into this area and I'll show you the details here. Okay, and this is just that second element on the Bookmap chart. And let's continue to zoom in. And this is about as simple as it gets. Best offer is the red line, best bid is the green line, and then we're looking at the aggressor volume. The market buys and sells, okay? Just like any other platform. We're just showing it in much more detail, and in fact, we can zoom into these areas and really see the detail. Okay? We can see every single transaction that took place. We're at microsecond level here. We're looking at millions of seconds. We can continue to zoom. We're not, but we can continue. So we're recording every single event. Okay? Now, as I zoom back out, you can see that turned into a bigger dot here. Okay. Well, if you want the specifics on that dot, you can see this is for a volume of 3. We know it was 3 different events when we zoomed in. So each event was for a volume of 1, and there it is. Okay. All right. So that's the specifics, and that's about as simple as it gets here. The volume it traded here, it is graphically aggregated, but as you see, I zoomed in here. Every single event is recorded and not aggregated. Okay. Now, if we continue to zoom out here, you're going to note at a certain point some of these turn into like a pie display of both buying and selling. Well, what's going on there? There are just so many transactions and flurries of activity that we have to give you the overall delta of that volume dot here. This one was for 39 contracts here. We give that by showing that the majority of that was actually selling in this case on this dot here. Okay. Now the red dot is selling. Okay, they're taking liquidity off of the best bid. All right, so that's the specifics. We have the second element on this chart. Let's go over the third element. And let's take the candlestick. We'll leave it on for now, actually, and let's add the heat map. Okay, now what is the heat map? Okay, this is where people get a little lost. They understand volume, they understand best bid and offer and microstructure, but what is this heat map? And what is it showing and how does it help? Okay. Well, it's showing where they're bidding and offering. We're showing that this is your dome, your depth of market. It's just recorded and it's plotted on the chart. How do we do that? Well, if we zoom in here, I'll show you. We take this, this vertical dotted or white line here, it divides historical data here on the left to current data on the right. And this is your current best bid and offer right here. Okay, and this is your current last traded price. And here's the traded volume here, the number in front of it. And then you see the price ladder, right? And then you see this depth of market here on the offer and depth of market here on the bid. Okay, let's zoom in just a little bit more. And what these numbers represent here, these are contracts. This is liquidity. These are traders providing liquidity. They want to trade at these specific levels here. They want to be sellers, and they're willing to wait and get filled at some of those areas. Now you can see that it's constantly changing. That's because they're adding and pulling liquidity. It's the auction. Okay, so these are the sellers here, and these are the buyers down below current price. This is where they want to buy. Now we take these areas of very high liquidity. Wow, quick move. Okay, quick jab to the downside there. We take these, that's a book sweep, by the way, someone came in and they had a lot to trade and they swept every single price level. Okay? Happens frequently, and there's risk in being involved in a price sweep. Anyway, looks like they aggressively wanted to get down here to this high liquidity here. Now let's see if the buyers step in down here. Okay? Or are we going to get more selling and come down to 68? Why am I looking at 68? Because that's where the liquidity is. Okay? So we're taking these numeric values here, the liquidity, the contracts, giving it a graphical representation in a heat map in this window. When these numbers change, this current market window here changes. Okay? There, you can just see here it changed at 72, 77. It was 50 contracts, now it's 27. Okay, and we're represented in the heat map. Heat map scale is over here. This kind of reddish orange area is the highest liquidity, and then orange, yellow, white, then blue is lower, and then black is the least amount of liquidity. Now what we do is we take these values here and we record it and plot it on the chart. So all of that trading activity has been recorded, and here it is. That little area where there was 50 contracts and then they pulled, let's zoom out. This is what it looks like. So look at these guys. These larger players here are kind of starting to lower their liquidity here. They want to be sellers at kind of lower areas down here. Okay? And we can start to identify the specific player themselves. Look how this guy here pulled and added lower. Pulled and added lower. Okay? I've just identified a larger player. I'm also identifying their intent here. Okay, they're being pretty aggressive. Okay, they're chasing after price. Okay, but are they really risking something here? And the answer is no, because they're pretty far away from price. Okay, and we don't know if they're going to trade or not. We don't know what their real intent is yet. Okay, so this is where it gets really complex, starting to trying to understand an order book or your depth of market, your DOM, and that's why a lot of traders will say, well, it's all fake liquidity anyway. Well, I just don't think they're able to read it as precisely as this. Okay, and in this sense up here, yeah, I would say these guys don't have the intent to trade. It looks like the intent might have been to try to, in combination with a book sweep, to get it down into this lower liquidity at 72.70 down here, and have it transact down here. Okay, if that was their intent, that was pretty successful. Okay, and we're looking for, and if that is their intent, by looking at these players here, and that this got filled down here, then we're looking for maybe the buyers to start to step in. Okay, and we are finding that. So here they're coming back. Now let's see if they get back up to this area here. Well, they already have. They've already gotten back up to this little area here where the book swept lower. And we're going to see if those sellers come back again, or we're going to see that maybe there's a lack of buyers and we'll come back down into the range. Okay, and that seems to be the case so far. Anyway, that's all the heat map is. Okay. Now, what the heat map, though, allows you to do is, as we've been just demonstrating here, we're able to identify the players, their intent, where there's places to fill, and what their objectives might be. I mean, we can see 1, 2, 3. Okay. Absorption, absorption, absorption. Okay, on the way down. These larger players are getting filled. Okay, they're providing liquidity, and it looks like they're staying in the book. We see the large transactions taking place in some of these areas here. Okay. Now, let's take a look back at our candlestick chart. And let's look at the detail that we just observed and are able to put together here. And then looking at the candlestick chart, okay, we're getting a lot more information here. And it's really simple data. We're just putting it into context of the aggressive traders with the market buy and sells versus these high areas of liquidity and the reaction to it. Okay, well, why did price reverse up here? It came into this area of high liquidity here. Looks like it transacted. Okay, we got a retest back up here. We didn't break it to a higher high. In fact, we find some sellers. Look at them sweep the book here very aggressively in this little area here. Let's zoom into that area. Okay, and here that same action is again. They're taking all the liquidity and sweeping it lower. Okay, now we return back to where they swept it here. Okay, do we find more buyers? No. Okay, so sellers are in control here, right? And we're looking for that to continue, right? And they do continue. Okay, and we get a nice little trend to the downside. Right? Now the question is this downtrend going to continue here? And we're going to get our answer pretty soon here. We're looking for, since they absorbed like 3 times down here, at a certain point, they're going to be done absorbing. And there's going to be either more selling pressure that will trade through it, or maybe there won't be, they'll absorb all the selling pressure, and we'll find buyers start to rotate in instead of sellers, and we'll note it in the order flow. Okay, and we're getting clues here. Okay, we're also starting to see them. Look at how the bid down here between 65 and 68 starting to build out a bit. So they're showing buying interest down at some of these levels. This is where they want to buy. Okay, I'd like to see one more move down into this 65 to 67 level here, and I'd like to see them absorb. Now, why are they down there? Let's take this candlestick chart off. Well, it's at the swing low. It makes sense. We're starting to put context together with the structure as well. Why the swing low? Well, there's going to be a lot of buyers here that are going to be moving their stop up, or maybe they got engaged into the trade in these areas here and thought, well, I placed my stop down below the swing. Here are people ready to absorb their stop losses. Okay, right here at 65. Anyway, so just putting context and structure and the auction together here. Any questions? All right, and let's see if we might not get down there. We've seen it absorbed, 3 different times here. Okay, we got little pullbacks as well, and let's see if the buyers can step in here and have a little bit of size on their side and start to trade up here with some size. And here they come. Looks pretty good. I like it. Let's see a little bit more, and then I think we can come up into higher areas of liquidity. I'd be looking here at 75, and then I like this area up here around 80 as well as the next stop for the buyers. Okay, look at them getting more aggressive here at 72.70 on the bid. Okay, so we're starting to put the pieces together for that possible reversal. Okay. All right. Well, need to see a little bit more than that, but we're starting to see as we zoom out and have a little more context here, we can see that, yeah, okay, well, we came up here and we tested. Now, in the advanced webinars, we always remain bearish still, even though we see this, until we see something different. Okay, we're looking for maybe another rotation. And if we see, though, that there's significant buying down here, and especially up here, then we're looking for the extension up into 80. Okay, and right now, we're not seeing significant buying. Okay, we're seeing more for sure. Okay, so that's a good, it's insight, it's context. In fact, if they're going to start buying down here, we would start to anticipate there are going to be more buyers probably down here. And we'll see. And there are. And in fact, not only are there more buyers here, okay, look at the selling down here, not a lot. Okay, so I would be starting to expect a return back to the top of the range here, and then we're going to see if there are more buyers up here at this area to finally break out of this zone here of 75 and maybe get up into this 79 and 80 level up here. All right. All right, well, I'll leave you guys with that. And if you're signed up for the next webinar, we'll see you over there and continue to take a look at this process here. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.